easy money. We're only giving the
Everybody gets set
because we're feeling nice today.
Well, I mean, I gotta side with the panel a little bit here. I think that TNC's draft, if they can survive the early game, would be a little bit better, but VGR, of course, being a squad of very, very experienced players, we'll have to see how much they can pressure the lanes and try to put TNC under the gun here.
So, in terms of drafts, overall, do you feel that there's one that's necessarily a bit easier to execute?
I mean, I guess you could say that having Tinker and Elder Titan for high ground defense and then Fat Rider and such, you can hold your 2-3s for a very, very long time, but I think VGR just want to play non-stop aggression, and it's also, I think, a little bit harder for TNC to actually pressure the individual lanes. So if the Axe can snowball out of control, which we've seen before in the MVP series, you get ahead, you just start crushing. If that happens, I think TNC could be in a lot of trouble.
Absolutely, and in terms of crushing lanes, do you feel that there's definitely
30 seconds to showtime.
Perform at the earlier stages of the game? If this game does go on late, is there someone with a clear advantage?
I think VGR are definitely the ones who want to perform better during the early game. Because you get the Axe of Blink Dagger, you want to start making moves with the Blinks and getting initiations, getting kills, snowballing. Letting a Tinker go to late game, letting Terrorblade go to late game, especially with an Elder Titan and such, it's going to make it very, very difficult, I think, for VGR to actually end it if they don't do well like this.
We can see the moment to start off with you. The team
and here we go.
Bumping heads around the rune spots. And Bottom Storm
Stupendous!
Grabs theirs. Lane-wise, do you expect any kind of
no more bets, please.
From either side? Are we going to see any help for the Bat Ride at the top? Will Sam H back up into the jungle early on, or is he going to be fine on the offlane?
I think for the time being, it's just going to be, a Venge and a Weaver. He might get harassed a bit, but I don't necessarily think he'll die unless he gets over-aggressive. Looks like for the time being, they're going to have FYF here as well. So yeah, this is actually, with the Mirana, this is a super scary lane. Kill him with just 2 stuns. The Weaver can chase into the tower as well, so he has to be very careful.
Set up, Magic Missile into the arrow, END coming in nice and close, getting the punches in, and Sam H. There's going to be no escape for this boy. He's got one Fairy Fire. He's going to try and make them take as long as possible for this one as he jukes out in the sideline, but they'll chase him down and get the first blood on the Weaver. VGR with the start that they wanted, and indeed, that top tri-lane a little bit too potent for a bat to lift it.
A little bit strange that he decided to show himself so early and he's skilled Sticky instead of Firefly. I mean, I get that, you want to be able to have some kind of ability to trade in lane, but maybe he feels like staying up here is the choice to make sure that he gets a 1v1 matchup in mid so his Tinker's not under pressure to defense arrow, but he's going to get hit again.
Sam H in a lot of trouble indeed. VGR, they'll take a second. I bet we've only just seen this. 1 minute and 20 seconds in. 2 deaths on the offlane. This
Radiant's top tower is in bad shape.
At some of their performances, they rely on Sam H to get to a point where he's going to be able to make the plays in the mid game.
Radiant's top tower is taking hits.
The making for ganking the Bat Rider is the fact that Mikasa is not necessarily having the greatest time in middle lane. He's getting harassed by EU here pretty heavily, and they're just trying to make sure that Tinker gets even further ahead. Normally, in the lane, Tinker wins this matchup, but with a hero that's just sitting there constantly harassing you, it's going to be 10 times worse. So now VGR need to decide whether they want to try to help out Mikasa or if they're okay with just going.
AU came round for a bit of a warning, but FY's found him out. He's going to chase him down. Force him back over to his side of the map. Looks like Mikasa won't come across the arrow. Ooh, F1. Nearly connecting there, but AU's going to get lucky for finding himself a haste rune down bottom, so no more chase down.
Top lane again. Oh, gonna lose Sam H.
Sam H!
Actually dying to that time.
I mean, is this main stage kind of nerves?
The Dire best do something about that bottom tower.
Really far up in the lane to try to get
the prize is mine.
He still doesn't have Firefly skill. So if he doesn't have Firefly, he just can't jungle. He needs to hit level 2 somehow. I mean, at this point, probably go up and get, 1 creep, and then just go try to jungle instead, because what he's doing is not working at all.
Why? Again? Oh, off you go. Where's the Elder Titan as he comes back? You can see. Jungle. No. Finding a 9 levels understandably. No one from TNC has really come over to try and slow down the progression of this Axe for the 3-minute mark. But of course, as this all goes down, this does mean that the TB, bottom lane at Raven, going to get absolutely uninterrupted farm on the Terrorblade. And what is the plan for VGR?
Snacks from the jaws.
With a TB that's going to have a good start.
I think their answer is just no having the Blink Dagger, and obviously Spin dealing fear damage. You have a fairly decent way to kill the Terrorblade. Like, you have Storm Initiation with the Axe together on having Blink, and that should be more than enough, honestly, to get the kill without a natural save. Like, sure, Global Silence is going to be something you need to worry about a little bit later, but you don't have an Oracle, a Shadow Demon, a Venge, or anything like that to save him. So once he gets jumped, if you don't have Global, most of the time, if you don't have Strong, he's dead.
Jimmy, then come towards the mid, harass FY back a little bit. And this is one thing as well with Demon Silencer. We saw obviously the start. No one's down bottom for the Silencer to work his magic against. I mean, where are we going to start to see this Silencer pick really come into play for TNC?
There's a couple of ways that you can use it. It's nice to be able to counter-initiate. So once the Stormball's in, for example, you can global on him, force him to itemize in a way that's not optimal. So instead of being able to go like a greedy Bloodstone Order, you might have to buy an early Yules, or you might even have to buy an early DKB. And the other method is you can lasso somebody, pull them out, and global on top of it to ensure that the bench can't swap the lasso. That's one of the ways that he was originally used Silencer, when you saw like Batrider Centaur and Silencer.
This is kind of his favourite spot. Early, he's going to come back again. No, heading across, trying to have a Cuckoo. He's got an Arcane Rune and
Pew, 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 pew.
TNC's first kill on the board. No. Continues to chase AU down. He's got backup in the form of Envy's Weaver coming in close as well. Cuckoo just trying to find some space for the escape of AU, and it's going to be enough. VGR unable to punish anyone on the side of TNC after they come nice and deep into their jungle.
It's surprising we actually saw the Weaver route into that. I mean, they didn't have a reliable disable outside of Nono maybe running in and getting a call, so it seems like a little bit of a waste of time there from End.
Built down on the bottom lane as the FY is coming for a little bit of farm and experience, but Raven 43 for 3 still at the top, and we can absolutely see the difference between his farm and End's Weaver. 27. Between the safe laners, mid lane. TNC trying to make a move in onto Mikasa. Can't quite get the laser cast off as Mikasa gets himself back into the shadows. Bottom lane, VGR actually smoked up. Looks like they were looking for Raven. We've got both Nono and DDC working here, but Raven, see if he senses something's up. Himself in the lane. They also have FY around on Mirana, so 3 heroes down, and they want to make a play.
He just pulled. This is really, really bad. He has no creeps.
Raven in a whole world of pain as VCR
Trespasser,
which was absolutely the highest of priorities at this point with him having free farm for the first
Trouble brewing at Radiant's bottom tower.
I mean, I guess you could argue that having creeps against Axe isn't even really helping you, but that just made it incredibly easy for VGR to go for the dive. Very nice smoke timing there. A little bit for the Terrorblade, but yeah, I mean, VGR are doing what they need to do. They realize, you know, ganking the Terrorblade, keeping it down, trying to get Nono blank as fast as possible. Here I am! The highest farmer in the game.
Top lane as well as we saw. Sam H, she's managed to not die again after the first 3 deaths. He's level 4.
Where's the party?
More of the experience. Mid-lane Mikasa. Let's see in terms of farm, still struggling against the Tinker. Obviously TNC been putting a lot of pressure on the Storm here. He certainly fell at the moment. DDC coming with a very interesting wraparound. Walks into Demon, AU as well. The Storm seems to be totally off point. DDC just playing games with TNC at the moment, but they'll continue to chase him down. It looks like he's going to make them spend a lot of the time going for this bench kill. Could he deny himself? No, the burst from Demon is too much. Silencer will be able to punish the bench. Picking up a second kill now for TNC.
Denied!
That's a bit of space created. Having that bench walking around the woods, having 3 heroes chasing him for that long. It's probably more than okay for VGR given their current state. The Axe and the Weaver are still farming extremely well. The one person who's suffering the most is Mikasa. Like, this guy is just having a heck of a time in the middle lane. He's only got 18 CS. Gonna see a little bit of bottle abuse here from the side of VGR, but yeah, I think they need to rely on the Blink Dagger tech more than anything now, because since the Storm is so far behind, it's really hard, I think, to recover just from straight up farming in this game. I think going for ganks with the Axe is going to be the best avenue to take TNC off guard, so hopefully, Nono's timing is still going to be on point here.
Well, F1 still clearing out the loose, but we're going to see TNC.
Radiant's top tower's hurting.
Well, to make sure the Raven is not left alone. Fine, playing it safe. Top lane. DDC's going to have this movie.
Radiant's top tower's taking hits.
He's on his own at the moment. Looks like he's going to play it safe and moving forward aggressively. The other time backs away.
Coin for me.
This point of the game, 4 for 2. VGR certainly managed to find the initial kind of kick to the game. They certainly felt they had the flow, but PNC
Radiant's top tower's in bad shape.
As you can see in respect to some of the cores, it's still an even game in this lane stage.
Yeah, they definitely would prefer a slower fan state as well inside of TNC.
Radiant's top tower's hurting. Radiant's toughened up their structures.
Oh! Really far ahead of the Storm. And the Tinker could probably
Radiant's
still
top
lose.
tower is taking hits. Radiant lost the
So
top
it's not
tower.
really as big of a concern until Mikasa starts to make his recovery. But BGR, they get a tower. And
Dire's mid tower won't last much
Mikasa
longer.
moving around, not necessarily to gank this time, but help pressure some lanes. And yeah, and it's all about that blink timing here.
I'm back over on the side of TNC looking at Cuckoo. He's nearly closed his first hurdle, 1800.
Radiant's top tower is in bad shape.
Completed. To make a play before that's done. Top lane, Mikasa moving in very aggressively. A TP reaction coming out immediately from Demon. Mikasa, he's got to get himself out. Goes straight for the TP out. They're not going to have a cancel. So Mikasa able to pull a TP out of TNC at least and get himself back to safety.
Yeah, it was a very nice read of the situation. He knew since the Spirit was down, he would very easily be able to TP because you can't get a ranged echoes on the time. So, smoke up here from the side of VGR. They're looking for a kill. Only about 700 gold away from the blink there on Nono.
I mean, at this point, if they can get either Sam H, Cuckoo, both players that are looking for those big items, so moved up forward as VGR trying to close the gap onto Sam H. He'll turn around.
Vanish.
Raven's also turned up to help out. With the Moonlight Shadow, VGR disengage, and TNC no interest in chasing down for more. No.
Radiant's bottom tower ain't a pretty sight right now.
TNC all fairly close to the situation. We'll be able to hit back hard if VGR find a jump in, but it looks like TNC are nicely averting the aggression.
Radiant's bottom tower's seen better days.
I mean, at the very least,
The prize is mine.
He is so close to level 6. There's no reason to take an engagement. Your silencer is pretty much
Radiant's mid tower could use a hand.
More impact inside of the game.
Someone across, he's going to look to try and steal some of these creeps from Sam H. Global available, Demon. He's going to look to set it up into the Echo Stomp. Mikasa, can he get himself out of here? Zips away.
Whoa, what'd I miss?
Radiant's bottom tower ain't a pretty sight right now.
Because he keeps casting the ball lightning. Is it going to be enough damage? It's going to be...
Dire's top tower's getting beat down.
Oh, no,
Trouble brewing at Radiant's bottom tower.
Does it with the Arcane Curse. Too much for the Storm to deal with.
Looks like he underestimated the damage because there was a troll camp.
Radiant's bottom tower's seen better days.
It's a bit of a misplay there.
Radiant lost one of them bottom towers.
So again, maybe he just wasn't expecting the amount of damage output.
I mean, that's something that we really didn't talk about, but it absolutely destroys the Storms for it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. I mean, all of this...
Dire's mid tower could use a little help.
Very small cooldown. You want to be using Zip a lot in fights to maximize your overload. So, not a fun hero to play against the Storm.
Dire's mid tower's having technical difficulties.
Top of the board in net worth. Dragonlance 1300 gold on top as well, so still very good progression for him. The same can be said, of course, for End. It's pretty much sitting on par, and of course with a very similar build as well at this point in the game as the Terrorblade. So both safe laners.
Radiant's mid tower's getting banged up.
Now that's the Blink Dagger picked up for Axe. We'll see what kind of plays VGR can pull out with this one. We've got 3 towards the bottom at the moment. They want to move in and try and make a play. Already TPs from TNC coming towards the mid laners. It looks like they themselves are going to see if they can catch out the passive.
I think it's going to be a little bit harder without Global to really be able to get a kill like that. Plus the fact that BTR's warding sees a lot of what's going on TNC's side of the map, so they know that
Radiant's bottom tower's seen better days. Dire's mid tower could use a little help.
I like what they're doing though. They're protecting FY, pushing in bottom. They haven't shown the blink yet, and I don't believe that Nono walked by any wards, so this will be the reveal of the dagger. To kill it would be very, very good for them.
Got to be very, very careful. But at the same time, as you said, with the ultimate from Jimmy coming back off cooldown, we should be fairly short.
Radiant's mid tower's coming apart.
Let's do anything off the back of this. He managed to get the save off.
My hero
Radiant's mid tower's getting banged up.
But they don't have detection. So with a straight 1-for-1, Nono throws his life in and is able to take Cuckoo down with.
I think it's probably worth it trading the Tinker for the Axe. Like, not by a huge margin, but you know that TNC's game plan is to try to play slower pace, get March, push out the waves, delay until the Terrorblade becomes a real big issue. Trading your life in that scenario is fine. Plus, they also commit a global. Grand scheme of things, BGR are probably feeling okay with the current situation.
Right? Looking for End, but it's a hard catch. Sentry's going to drop down. Put himself down.
something to show me.
Connect the teammate himself be in trouble as they close in. Flame break behind with a TP. And TNC, they'll take both of them down.
Important to remember that last word also is
Dire's
very
mid
good
tower's
against
having technical
because once you catch
difficulties.
your feet,
Can't do
you
nothing
time
about
lapse.
Dire's
So if
structures
you
right
take
now.
damage in that, because obviously they dropped the sentry.
Dire's mid
Have a really
tower
hard
won't
time
last much
recovering
longer.
He was
The
just-
Dire couldn't
again,
hang
not
on to
used
that
playing
mid
against Talon
tower.
Here, we just don't really see that often.
The pick so far certainly working out for TNC. Mikasa gives him a bit more space, but again, Silencer coming into play. Do some issues for Mikasa. Point boost tonight, a little bit tankier. And this rune as well, and still the DD active. True would love to try and make a play back on TNC, but they already back up. And TNC, King Brother is a 3-man, AU Demon, and Raven. Raven's farm continues to skyrocket. And I mean, you remember back a few minutes ago, we saw him on the same as the Weaver, but that last bit of play, he's now really starting to create the difference between the two of them.
And you can tell that they feel the pressure from this. They don't want that TB to get out of control. This is the second smoke they're going to be using in just a couple of minutes. They really, really want to try to get something done here. They have the mech finished up on FY, they have the Blink Dagger on No-No, and we'll see if they can make something happen.
Just AU towards the mid lane. And a wrap around towards bottom, but TNC see themselves playing very, very safely at the moment. No one really out on the map, all behind tier 2s. As TNC just reading the situation very, very well, and it looks like VGR is going to be unable to catch anyone off guard with its movement.
They understand that VGR are the ones who, if they get the jump on you and you don't have all of your abilities available, it's going to be very difficult because the axe initiation, even with the global, still ends up killing the Tinker. You just really want to make sure that you don't really have like a force engagement until at least that rider has like, keep in mind that main thing for the drone is not for the straight lane. So until you get that item, you can't really utilize the global in an offensive fashion unless VGR are committing to a fight on you. That being said, TNC just have a very good understanding of the way their lineup is meant to play the game.
Down here as well from TNC, spotting out VGR. They actually want to smoke on top of this. TNC spotting the whereabouts of VGR, seeing if they can find a way to close the gap.
Shadows take us.
That blink is a little bit hard for them, especially with FY, Moonlight Shadow, VGR themselves, come back in. TNC, we're going to rebuild themselves. Cuckoo comes out, just caught eyes on him, he's out, but something back away, VGR. Wait in the sidelines, but TNC again playing very, very safely at this point, and as you said, this is exactly what TNC needs to do. They've got a Tinker, they've got a TB, they've just got to make sure that they've got
Dire might want to mine their top tower. No breaking through the Dire structures for now.
As long as their global results in at least one of
Dire's top tower, you know the drill.
And or Mikasa would probably be fine. Can also take fights that way, but you know, Raven more or less has just been doing his farm thing. He doesn't really want to come to fights until he has everything that he needs.
Radiant's bottom tower ain't a pretty sight right now.
They still have a tier 1 standing right now. That tier 1 is super important for their lineup to maintain control of the jungle. So as long as they have that, BGR are taking over the game the way they want to.
VGR, as you see, they're a lot of time down in that jungle ground, looking to see if they can get a catch. That's not working out. What else can VGR look to achieve around the map?
I think they're actually focusing too heavily on sitting in this part of the map. Like, it makes sense because you want to restrict the Tinker. You don't want him to be able to just farm like jungle camps at the same time, teleport to another lane and farm that as well. But they're not really getting anything by just standing here, and they weren't really contesting the Ancients either, so Raven has Magic now on top of Dragonlance.
Here I am!
They're still out farming a little bit, but the Tinker is getting further and further ahead, and that's the primary issue, because your Storm doesn't really have an item and it's 17 minutes in. Like, this is one of the more underfarmed Storms we've seen so far here at TI.
Barrow on it. Now with the blink complete as well, so TNC themselves. You see them look for active fights. All the ultimates back and available. Then indeed we will. TNC smoking up. Leading the way. They know that VGR have been spending a lot of time down around
Radiant's mid tower's coming apart.
Should be able to kick something off. But Blink Dagger's also done now.
The Dire might want to mine their top tower.
Fight TNC.
Radiant's mid tower could use a hand.
Already, VGR looks like they've done and dusted with the bottom lane presence. They will.
Dire's lost the top tower. Trouble brewing at Radiant's bottom tower.
Tree line. unable to find anything. So TNC can't quite find VGR and vice versa at the moment. Neither team really being caught out of position, understandably so. When you're in these best of one situations with such high stakes, you're going to see a lot of reserve play.
Yeah, absolutely. This game is just massive with both these teams. And I think it's even showcased by some of the itemization that VGR is saying. I didn't really talk about it much, but FY, the fact that he decided
Illusion!
we haven't really seen a whole lot of that here at TI6. It's mainly just been people going for the Aghanims build straight up. They just give them Mirana more farm priority as the game goes on. He becomes more of a split push hero, and then you just get out of control the later the game goes. In a way, because he has a mech and they're not utilizing it by team fighting, the item isn't really doing anything for him. You really want to be able to force engagements when you have that kind of advantage, and knowing that TNC wouldn't really buy a mech. It's like, speaking of TNC, be going for another smoker.
Absolutely, bringing everyone this time. Raven's going to be joining the cause as well with the Terror Blade. As we said, Manta style down. Of ends Weaver at this stage. 2.5k difference between them. They're going to look to try and find a pickup. No escape whatsoever, and TNC find themselves a pick-off, albeit not really the biggest of pick-offs they could have hoped for with a 5-man move. Or 4-man move, sorry.
It's still fine because it gives them space. It takes VGR off their side of the map. They know that for the most part, if the Mirana's dead, there's no Moonlight Shadow. Makes it a little bit less stressful for Cuckoo to push out other lanes, which he's kind of doing right now. It does also allow them to get a little bit more vision. They just know.
Radiant structures must have been fortified. Guess what's happening to Dire's bottom tower? Radiant's mid tower getting 1-4. Dire's bottom tower's getting the business.
Jimmy does have a global.
Dire just couldn't save that bottom tower.
Finding space to get more money for the Terrorblade. 11,500 net worth, 20 minutes in. He is certainly starting to get out of control. And just begs the question, Andy, do you feel VGR are wishing that they were just able to get more done in the other stage of the stage?
I feel like the axe just hasn't necessarily had the impact that they wanted it to. And he does have a blade now, so that might help the situation a little bit. But no, he's been involved in 2 kills. You really want to have a lot more than that if you're VGR by this point. Like, you have Mirana, Storm Spirit, and an axe. These heroes are by nature very aggressive. They want to try to fight, and TNC have been playing very well around them, just slowing down the game. Don't want to take any needless fights, and if they are going to fight, they're just making sure all of their tools are available. It's a very simple concept. They can delay the game and sit on their high ground if they want to. They can rely on the Terrorblade to carry them during the later game stages, and since they know that they're controlling the map enough, feel pretty safe.
This is essentially a smart move from each other. Realize at this stage, both teams are kind of be going around each other. They look to Roshan. With the Desolator event, they're going to do it fairly quickly. TNC will start to make a move over, and it looks like they will get there in time to contest. Everyone just fought with a global from Jimmy. It's going to slow down VGR's start. Here comes the ult from the other team.
That
the cancer as well. The finish off Cuckoo. The VGR, despite the global from Jimmy, they fight through it, find themselves 2 kills and head immediately back into the pit. TNC just left with 3 standing.
The Tinker was so far out of position during that fight.
Old Roche won't be coming back.
Immortality is mine!
There in the first place, because there wasn't even a swap used. He was just in the river without his team. He just joined a fight there from TNC, and VGR will take full advantage of this, getting the use of the Aegis now. Bloodstone charges as well from Akasa as he finished it just before that fight kicked off. Now No, with a very large ancient stack going his way. This is the kind of kick momentum that VGR really needed.
Oh no.
Ancients are pretty tough, No. They're strong.
Stand them, not get killed by them. Himself back. The lens picked up by Cuckoo. As you said, he's got to be careful in these fights because TNC at this stage of the game, they're relying on his first calculations and the roll.
The bigger thing about getting those advantages VGR who have these multiple ways of initiating, having an Aegis just gives you license to kill. You just go in because you know you have the Aegis advantage. Storm is arguably the best
Dire's top tower,
game.
you know the drill.
You just go in with full mana, you use your entire mana bar to kill 1 or 2 heroes, you respawn with full mana again. You can just either keep fighting or by that point TNC have already backed off. And that's exactly what VGR want. You don't want to give TNC any more breathing room than absolutely necessary, and the fact that TNC lose that fight it means that they pretty much don't want to take an engagement unless they're fighting around the tower.
I think that has to be said as well. If you look at Mikasa at the moment, he's only about 400 behind Tinker. And this is still
Over here now!
He's getting crushed in the lane at the beginning of the game.
He had a very, very good recovery, and plus he's only died once. That's the bigger thing. During the laning phase, he was getting zoned out by an Elder Titan pretty hard, but he never let himself get picked off. This is why he was considered one of the more stable mids, obviously, being the team coach and stuff. He
Dire's top tower's getting beat down.
I'm staging a comeback!
Ravens enough to bring him down once. She's connecting him again. Still on. Gets it off. Mikasa. Can he get himself out? Kills himself. Does manage to get the Bloodstone denied. You can see already TNC looking for more. Chasing down Nono. Pick off End on the backlines. Trying to pick off AU on the Elder Titan. We're chasing down with the Shikuchi. TNC trying to make their way over to help him. Looking for the Dukes. The stop is there. AU gets himself out and now End.
Come to that!
Silence is there. He's already out. Nono and they're tagged in. Gets him
A soldier's dead!
Who gets the kill onto Axe? Can we give themselves anything more, TNC? We can chase them down, but BGR back off. Maybe even thinking about coming back in as Mikasa is already respawned and is straight down to the bottom lane. TNC on the way back, but a bit of a messy fight there between the two teams. They're able to kill Mikasa twice, but BGR, they certainly hit that
Let the fun begin!
That was really unfortunate. Like, hitting the agents is
Radiant's bottom
really
tower's done for.
They still managed to secure it. Make sure that I mean, at the end of the day, it's still a
The
tower.
Dire might want to mine their
kills,
top
so maybe
tower.
not perfect, but it might be good enough for Vici.
Who spoiled that
Points
shot?
progression at the moment.
Dire's top tower's getting beat down.
He's got a Scotty.
Yeah,
Raven is so farmed. Look at his net worth.
He has had an absolutely fantastic game so far. I mean, he's been hitting creeps. 25 minutes in, 244 CS. He's only died the once. They're absolutely looking very, very stacked at the moment. And as we saw in that last fight, you know, BGR can get away
Here I am!
Good call out. Asher and DDC down the Tinker, down for 50 seconds. Just throw Sam H up into the air and get themselves out. But again, it's a big kill getting the Tinker, but still, I can't help but feel that Raven, he's the real target for BGR at this point. You need to kill the Terrible.
He's really difficult to kill, though. Having the Manta style and a global silence to protect you is no joke.
Right this way!
The swaps there, TDC, the global comes out from Jimmy. They'll look for TDC, they will manage to cancel the TP with the flame break.
Somebody's on a
To simply
roll.
avenge, giving his life for the coach. And his coach says, good job, son. You can't get yourself back to base. And that was a lot blown for that venge kill by TNC.
I mean, it's okay, I think. You're making sure, again, that Vici are just not going to be fighting you and you can get more farm on the TV. Because he still needs, you know, he still has some more inventory slots. It's not like he's getting out-farmed by anyone. He's 50% more net worth than the highest person in Vici right now, which is the Weaver. I don't think he's feeling particularly scared. Vici are really trying to avoid confrontation with him because they realize how farmed he is, and the only way they're killing him is if they just get everything dumped on him at the same time, and there's no global.
Oh, meanwhile, I mean, no. He just found himself a freebie on Jimmy. It's like he was out alone and Mikasa, joining forces with the axe, was able to take down a silencer. And coming back from the turn, BGR top lane, the arrow from F1.
Rest in
A bit of damage with the Starstorm as
Fagin
well.
has been
BGR
eyeing your
find
mount
themselves a
all
quick
day.
second. So TNC, a big lapse there with their concentration, losing two heroes in positions that they shouldn't have been.
Well, they're not losing cores, at least. The one thing you can look to and be happy about for TNC for the time being. There will come a stage when the Storm becomes a lot scarier, and the way that BGR are going to take fights is very, very scrappy. They want to just catch people out. They don't want to take the full 5-man because of fear of global. And obviously the Parablade is a very hard target to bring down to the stage because they just don't have the right item progression for it. As time goes on, that'll slowly change. You know, Nono's got a BKB now. So he can BKB off the global silence and go in under March, stuff like that. It's going to be very helpful for him.
Gift from the
I can
goddess.
see as well ends Weaver, just a few hundred away from his BKB as well. So I guess with those two BKBs, VGR is suddenly in much better position to take these fights.
It's a relatively good power spike against Silencer. And normally, you don't want to have to buy BKB until much later into the game just to maximize your efficiency and item conversion, but it's fine in this game because you need to get rid of global. Biggest problem that these heroes are having.
Yeah, so DDC was looking to try and find the setup onto Cuckoo. Quite get the vision to do so. TNC still sticking around together as a group. I mean, when do you imagine we're going to see a team look to actively take a fight? I mean, do VGR still feel the pressure, or after these BKBs do they sit back and look for more? And we've got 3 groups up behind a tier 2 here, so it looks like potentially VGR may be setting up for play at the moment. Yeah, bringing in Nono as well on his axe. DDC? Gillen, I mean.
Well, they're all kind of standing around.
Looks like they're scared of maybe TNC coming for something.
Yeah, but they have vision.
Yeah.
They had a ward at middle lane and then scouted the TB for a second, so they're going to move out on the map once again. I think they were going to try to smoke, but they actually don't have one.
Is this one coming out in the corner now?
Yeah, okay. I guess.
Oh no, it's not. No, they're simply terrified by the looks of it of TNC.
Well, this is a best of 1 lower bracket. You know what I mean? Like, you get scared when you don't see the enemy team on the map, and you know that they have comparable farm and the ability to take team fights with an ability like global silence.
Allies disappear.
We did of course see them come across with that ward up towards the top lane. The VGR.
They just like snap Marana ulted when they saw that TB illusion.
They are absolutely terrified. But it looks like they're going to build up the courage to try and take a fight with TNC. And
Sentries everywhere.
Dire's top tower, you know the drill.
VGR incredibly timid.
The Dire went and fortified their structures.
Regeneration.
Comes out from Jimmy. Let's see what TNC can finish off, and he gets the back. He gets the time to take now.
Dire's top tower, you know the drill.
Well, 2 down on TNC. Standing strong, Raven trying to
That's 4 in a row.
takes down a very
2 down. 6 in a row. 3 down.
the threat they need to kill this TB. No matter what, he's just killing them. The captain kills himself.
My timeline snaps. Now that's bleeding edge technology.
BGR getting team-wiped, and Terraplane absolutely out of control. Raven, 611, nearly 20,000 net worth and 31 minutes in.
He did so much damage during that fight. The Hamza didn't know that he had to use a blade, so when he falls in, he was expecting maybe to get 1 or 2 more hits, but he just got mad. He couldn't get away.
The Dire might want to mine their top tower.
Just another day in a pub. He is absolutely chilling. He knows how much this means. Just look at it.
Dire's top tower, you know the drill.
Well, Nono had really good BKB timing here. The global comes out super early from Jimmy, but as soon as he gets the call on the Batrider...
Dire's got one last top tower.
They're committing very heavily...
Trouble brewing at Dire's top rags.
You can see the Sunder going out through the end of the BKB, brings him down to half health already at this point, and he didn't have timelines anymore, so by the time it's all said and done, they just didn't have any damage left for the hard carry on the team.
Absolutely insane. I mean, look how tanky he is as well at this point. Well, 2.4k health. He had
Dire's top rags is in trouble.
That's a hero.
It's certainly in the hero. Terribly in Dota 2.
I mean, if you're VGR, you've just been through that fight. You're going to not want to let that happen again. But there's a smoke up. It looks like it could be the sneaky roach.
There's no, oh actually it's going to be a 10 seconds, so there is global.
Yeah, TNC could certainly try and fight this if they're aware what's going on. VGR, they're going to be able to do it a little bit quicker than they were before, but we can do that.
This is kind of all in, I think, right?
Yeah, TNC knows what up. VGR, they're not going to have the chance to finish this one without a fight. TNC. Brings him back into Raven. Storm Spirit falling low, will be able to use himself up. No,
Green Ball. Zap. 7 in a row.
another kill for Terraplane as VGR. They sent package for the time being. Cuckoo will come across, but F1 leaps away. VGR just unable to fight this Terraplane at this stage of the game. And they go for any kind of big play here at the moment. They've got a swamp, they've got an arrow.
Looking for me?
Every swamp easy coming. As well, they're trying to cause havoc.
I'm over here.
It's not going to work though. Take that Roshan, but they still get the Aegis, Sammy. Just before the
I will
the
ride
Manico
again.
1v1 pops the Aegis. No Bloodstone deny available, still on cooldown, and McCarthy's got to run, he's got to hide, he can't do it. Cuckoo. But the final laser to the face is VGR once again getting taken down big time.
It is looking real grim for VGR after that Roshan fight. That was, I feel, one of their last hurrahs. They wanted to try to time it so that there was not going to be a global, so they just immediately go as soon as everyone's alive again and hope for the best, but unfortunately their timing was quite good enough. As soon as they did that last Spirit, regardless of whether or not they get the kill, they force Mikasa out of the fight for an
The Dire best do something about their bottom
He
tower.
can't come back. He can't spend that much time going into the fight. Once again, Raven just unbelievably.
The Dire gave up a bottom tower. Dire's mid tower is having technical difficulties.
It is going to be a tall order for VGR to bring this one back.
It's been an absolutely solid performance from Raven.
Dire's mid tower won't last much
played
longer.
around perfectly up until this point. We said at the start, you know, how are VGR going to respond to the fact that they're letting a Terra play free farm?
Dire's
His
mid
point is
tower could
they
use a little
themselves don't
help.
know the answer to that question is. They've just been unable to take them head on in these 5v5 fights.
VGR needs to go and grab
Hope the Dire weren't partial to that mid tower.
Because Weaver doesn't really sit there and just trade right clicks. He's very mobile, goes around the fight, picks off the backline, and then continues to work on the carries when the supports are actually dead. But the problem is, he's never really getting those kills fast enough. And global plus
Time for some
Batrider.
rope rolling.
Take the roll.
He's come to this game, but his initiations have been absolutely perfect. And he is, you know, absolutely recovered for the fact that he gave away 3 very early kills.
I think a lot of those kills were better off being him than his
Dire's top ranks is taking hits.
doing a really good position.
Touche.
Dire's top
Just slow
ranks
this
is all
down.
to
40
pieces.
seconds still without end on the Weaver.
Dire's structure's looking fortified.
TNC. In this best of one, they can smell victory and moving forward.
Look at this illusion spread, Owen. This is disgusting.
Dire's mid tower's nothing now.
Ripping the face, the hose
Ain't
and
looking
dreams
good
of
for the Dire's
VGR.
ranks. It's gone.
VGR trying to fight for the global. Oh, Jimmy shuts VGR the hell up.
Dire's mid-ranks ain't doing so hot.
Looking for the outskill. Cuckoo jumps in as well. The swamp for
Somebody's
TNC will
cooking.
save the
How about that?
He'll pay with his life. Mikasa still playing around on the backline for Sam H. He's gonna have to kill himself.
Well, blow me down.
Get the killers from
9 in a row. How about
Guess
that? What's happening to Dire's bottom tower?
From Marana. There's a buyback from Mikasa.
Zip zap.
TNC. And then moving on, now Mikasa's gonna do a big push.
How about that?
Your intelligence grows.
Guess that's 10 in a row.
No, he's down. VGR loses.
Dire's mid-ranks is getting swung low. Said I lost 2 down.
TNC move forward, taking out VGR in the first. Absolute nightmare, but TNC have done it against all odds.
Big props to Jimmy there. I love the draft that game. I thought the silencer was a